So here's what's going to happen. We are going to do, there's an 8-bar intro. I want you to, your chart doesn't say this, but I want you to fill in all those spaces in the intro. So then we're going to do, letter A is basically where the 32-bar form of the tune starts. So you're going to sing that once, then we're going to DS, and we're going to have piano solo for the first 16 bars, guitar solo for the second 16 bars. Then DS again. This time the vocal will take it out to the coda. Okay. So what I think that means in terms of your chart is we're going to take the DS twice. Everybody ready? 1, 2, 1, 2.
stay. Not for a year, but every day. The radio and the telephone and the movies going on, just because they see the time they go. Our love is here to stay. Together we going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. They only made of clay, but our love is here to stay. It's very clear
Our love is here to stay. Not for a year.
but never end the day. The radio and the telephone and the movies going on, they just repeat the same. That's how they go. Our love is here to stay. Together we are going a long, long way. In time the Rockies we crumble, Gibraltar we tumble. They're only made of clay, but it's here to stay. Our love is here to stay. Together we are going a long, long way. In time the Rockies we crumble, Gibraltar we tumble. They're only made of paper.
No retarded D. Let's just go straight through that in time. At the very end. Maybe you're tripping. Well, it's halfway through the form, but no, I think that was correct. I think that was great. Yeah. So the last that ending is not retarded. Go to sticks in the solos. In the solos. So on the DS, the first DS, where there's a piano solo, go switch to sticks there, and then just stay with the sticks the whole time. Yeah. So don't what you did here at the intro is exactly what I was looking for. So don't be bashful about that. Even though your brush is filling in like that, perfect. You can do this too, even though it says 3-bar rest, I'm changing it. So you can do this through here too. So bar 6 is a space, and you can fill there. bar 7 is bum, ba, dum, bum, right? So you can hit that and then leave the last bar. So if you want to play through the next 2 bars of that, that's fine. The basal play is the only one that has that rhythm. Bum, bum, ba, dum, bum on bar 7. You can play along with that. But then leave bar 8 from the vocal, because that's a vocal pickup. Overall, that felt pretty good. So, soloists, we got to think more about chord tones, especially guide tones of the chords, the thirds and sevens. Really making sure we're defining those, because I'm a little squirrely for both of you. I would go on the neck pickup. The bridge pickup is not all the sound for this style. That's way too twangy, way too bright. So we're going to have a little warmer sound there. Even on a telecast. So, yeah, see, that's much better. And we gotta think. So when we're playing jazz tunes like this, the number one objective is the groove, the swing, the pocket, right? Duke Ellington used to say, "Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing." And he was absolutely correct, right? It's gotta swing. So soloists, we got to think about that too. That nice, strong eighth note flow be right in that pocket. When Kai switches to the sticks for the solos, and we get that quarter note on the ride, right? Boom, da, boom, bop, down, bop, bop. We got to make sure we're really locking into that. You did this a little bit more than Kellen did, but you want to think about starting your phrases on ands and not on downbeats. You did more of that. But that's a key thing of the language, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, ba-dum, ba-dum, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, ba-dum, ba-dum, or 1, 2, ba-dum, ba-dum, etc. You always want to get into the habit of starting your phrases on an and that's just, not that you're always going to do that, but if you get into that habit, it'll become more of just sort of the natural flow of things, and that'll help that feeling a lot. So you got to stay in the pocket too, and you're way off of it a lot. So now, I know that Shirley Horn, who has the recording that they reference here, she backphrases a lot, and she's a hard person to imitate. The reason she can do this is because she knows the song so well, right? But now you should probably stay on top of it a little bit more. So we go ba-dum-bum. It's very clear, 2, 3, 4. Our love is here to stay. Right in that pocket. Together we're going a long, long way. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know. Right? You gotta stay on top of the rhythm a little bit more. What I'm used to hearing with this song, because I've known this song forever, is I'm used to hearing certain words with certain chords forever. And the day, and when I don't get day until here, something just sounds completely off, right? Go. We got to hear that on the turnaround. So you were behind a lot. And we just got to try to stay on top of it. Your sound is nice. We just got to lock in the rhythm now. That's really the biggest thing. I don't have anything for you yet. I'll work on it. Okay, can we try this again? Oh, so this time, yeah, first time piano. Oh, okay, so okay, I'm gonna change it up now. Okay, so first time piano, first 16 bars, second 16 bars guitar, and then when we DS the second time, instead of you coming in singing for the first 16 bars, I want a bass solo. So you will wait to come in singing until here. It's very good, oh my dear.
Okay.
I'll help you. I'll cue you. So same form, but now we're going to do a bass solo instead of the first A section last time. Okay? And so for the bass solo, you'll go 2.5, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1.
It's very clear our love is here to stay. Not for a year, but every day. The radio and the telephone, when the movie's there, we know we've just been passing fancies, and in time they go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. They only make our lives to stay. Our love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. We only made a here to stay. Together we're a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. They only made of paper.
I said I would cue you coming out of the bass solo, but you could set that up a little bit more, like in the last bar or two, work your way into a walking sort of thing. make that transition a little bit more obvious. With all of these chord changes, I think this is just something to keep working on. Learning to connect the chord tones a little bit more. I'm still hearing things like lots of fourths over dominant chords and things like that. So just slow this down. Make sure you can just kind of voice lead through things and connect those. This is one of those songs I feel like even sort of knowing the melody. I guess there's a few turnarounds that doesn't really work. But I always feel like melodies are a good place to start with learning how to do this. But I don't think the melody helps you with some of these spots. So mountains may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, right? That you're getting behind on that one still. Everything else is more on top. Can I get less vibrato on this? Like more of a straight tone?
Okay.
I'm getting a little bit of that.
Okay.
I'm getting a lot of it, actually. So see if we can get a straighter tone. I'm not saying that jazz singers don't use vibrato. Some of them use it a lot, but it's how they use it. Like at the end of a phrase.
Yeah.
It's not always like that, right? Okay, let's try this again. Same form. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Every key, our love is here to stay. Not for a year, but every other day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know, they just become so fancy. Anytime they go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. They're only made of clay, but love is here to stay. Turn the Rockies, we crumble to break
play chords for yourself? Like, really going through the tune and knowing where the melody fits the chords, I think, for me, is a big help. You know, when I learn these tunes, this is what I need to know. I need to know where the melody and the chords, how the melody and the chords come together. And even though you have words to deal with, and on guitar I don't have words to deal with, sometimes I learn the words anyway, because I think it's an easy way to memorize the tune. But it's really about the melody, like where certain notes are on the chord. And that should, it's one of those things that it should be really obvious to you when it's off. And I feel like you're not quite hearing it. So that's what this needed, a little bit more of it. It's better than when we started. So it's getting, and I thought you did a better job of handling the vibrato this time. So that was nice. So since we don't have another singer, we'll just do one more time and then we'll call it a day. I want you to think more about eighth notes in the solo. You know, in jazz, phrasing is based on the eighth note. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we mix it up by syncopating that. But that's the basic flow of it. Anytime you do triplets or sixteenths or anything like that, it's like a little embellishment, and then we come back to that eighth note flow. And that's, you know, for those of us who devoted a lot of time to sort of really learning this language, this is one of the things we work on, like at the very foundational level. It's just getting a nice eighth note thing. So see if you can kind of feel that. As you're going into the solo, the quarter note's going to be on the ride. He's going to be playing a quarter note, bass is playing a quarter note. And we can start thinking a little bit more about just locking into that. Right? Just think about the eighth note a little bit more. I feel like what you're doing is kind of little spurts of rhythm that aren't really locking into that. So that'll help us a little bit more. I thought much clearer job with the chord tones this time. That's what you really have to focus on. And now you have to do that too when you're soloing. You have to think about thirds and sevenths of chords are very important, right? And sometimes you hit the wrong third or the wrong seventh. And so that's just something we really need to go. And I know as a bass player you're used to finding roots, right? But now we got to think about melodically where the thirds and sevenths are. Do you spend a lot of time practicing melodies to tunes like this on the bass? Yeah, that is something I would recommend, because you know, if you learn to phrase this melody, then study how that fits the chords. This is the kind of stuff we all have to do, right? But I think that'll help. Okay, let's try one more time. Oh, yeah, I shouldn't have said anything to you about that first 8 bars, because the first time you did it, it was great, and now I feel like you're second guessing it a lot. You're thinking too much about it. You know, don't think about it too much. So, first time was better when you weren't when I didn't say anything, so I shouldn't have said anything. But yeah, just fill in there, no problem. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Whoa. Not so aggressive on those. Split the difference. 1, and it's you're a little ahead there too, Kelly. You're pushing it. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Our love is here to stay, but for a year, but every other day, the radio and the telephone and the movies that we know, they just bring fancy, and the time they go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Together we go in the long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. We're only made of clay, but our love is here to stay.
So now it's a matter of learning where to put the rests in those eighth notes and break up the phrases a little bit. But I will say this, your note choice got a lot better when you started focusing on the eighth notes, as well as the rhythms locking in. I felt like you were hitting better notes over the chords. I don't know whether you were consciously aware of that or not, but your note choice got better. So this definitely is more the direction you want to pursue with these kind of tunes. And like I said, you'll learn how to sort of where to put the rests and where to syncopate the eighth notes and break it up. And so by that I mean instead of going ba ba da ba da ba da, maybe you're going ba ba do da bum bum ba do da bum bum ba do da. And these are all eighth notes, but now I'm just syncopating the rest of it. And you'll learn that as you go. But this is definitely the direction to go with these kind of tunes. Yeah. Okay. And then, yeah, like I said, learn some melodies on the bass. Learn how they resolve to things other than roots and things like that. It would be really useful. Nice job on this. Okay, thank you, everybody.
there be rhythm guitar next week?
What's next week?
All along the Watchtower.
No, it'll just be you.
Okay.
So what I would do,
Because this is kind of
Yeah.
lame to strum that song.
what's that?
Kind of lame to like strum it. You might as well do Bob Dylan's version.
Right. Bob Dylan doesn't even do that version anymore.
I know.
He does it more like Hendrix. I would say,
I'm just curious what you prefer. 'Cause I can
yeah,
learn the parts, but there's
I
like
hadn't
three
really
parts.
thought about it. Typically, I would say, wherever you don't have the key Hendrix licks, put in more of the rhythm guitar thing.
Yeah.
But then there's that big long solo in the middle that you kind of have to dedicate to that. being Hendrix.
That's too bad. I know.
Well, yeah. So here's your creative challenge for the next week: is figure out where you can fill in with rhythm guitar